slow going out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he was proper slowing. Like, yeah, good.
Yes, so you have a go then.
Yeah.
Want to see me do it now?
Yeah.
You ready?
Does it go in every time then?
I don't know about every time. Yeah, backwards, right?
Right. Hello there.
Welcome to the festival.
Town crier, is it?
Yes, hot town crier for that. Sweltering.
Oh, yeah. Hang on, I've got to go up. That's better. Mead. Mead.
Honey.
Okay.
Honey water yeast turns to alcohol. See what you think?
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I've got lots of flavours. If you want to try any of the others before you get rid of your cup, there's a nice chocolate one, and blackberries, nettles, elderflower. Got a nice whiskey infused one, and a cherry one as well. And we've also got a sparkling mead, and we've got a braggot as well, which is a honey ale.
There.
You make it yourself?
No, have my Jane's got a shop in Tewkesbury. Do a bit if you ever get to Tewkesbury. It's just in front of the Abbey, and she sells mead and lots of other gifts all year round. Yeah, so Hive Mind is from Caldecott Castle, which is just down the road. Would you like to try some mead?
Sorry, walking in the way.
Thank you. Would you like to try some?
It's very nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah, we're back for more later. Oops.
Too dry.
Is it?
Well, a bit of lemonade, that'll be fine.
Oh, we haven't been seen that yet, have we? There's bits of it here. They say I live in Newport, but I've never been to see it yet.
Haven't you?
No.
Oh. No, it's never too late. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Is there plenty of parking though, is it?
Yeah, it's reasonable parking there because it's just an industrial estate. So
Yeah, because that by spec, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think this is the time to use it. Let me give you your book. Have a look. Why do you think? Just a look and take a breath.
Was it going to engrave it, are you? Sorry?
No, I've realised I'm making.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you'd do something on the slate.
No, I was using the slate as basically just as a base.
Everybody.
I left my heat mat at home, so it's just something I can torch it on.
Oh, it's working well then.
There's a
It's
whole
quite-
program of events,
I agree with that.
demonstrations, and activities through the
So
day.
it's basically to.
Programs, if you've not seen one, are available from the blue and
that's
white
it,
stripe marquee.
Sure,
The next scheduled
Oh,
demonstration
it's-
here
it's-
on the
it's an-
field
it's an annular
is
pin,
in
so
about
it's-
20-25
if you
minutes,
had
which will be our
imagine this is
heritage
a cloak
mason
that you
doing
had
some
ready
yeah, that's
on
fine,
scene.
right.
Otherwise,
Sure.
get
For sure.
involved,
So
have a
then
chat
what
with
you
the
do
reenactors,
is
come and
it's
have a bite to eat.
like an
And there
old-fashioned
is
safety
axe
pin. So
throwing
you put
as
the
you're on your way
pin
in, which
through
looks
one
highly
side
dangerous
and
and
then back on
exciting.
itself, and then what happens is
get it so that goes underneath and then goes around.
Oh, right, yeah. That's lovely, I like that.
And it
Right,
keeps
your
you-
street, innit?
Yeah.
There's a
Or
little
the-
skirt there.
If you're wearing like puttees, like the wraps on the
Yeah,
legs,
yeah.
you know, the little tiny ones that you just hold. So basically a safety pin, but
In the medieval.
but the safety pin was safe because that bit was covered. They're not so safe safety
Oh,
pin.
yeah.
No.
Yep. But I realised that I've run out of a particular size, so a smaller size that's size between that one and that one,
Oh, in the middle, yeah.
which is sort of that size.
Yeah.
But the squared off twisted pattern.
Yeah.
So whilst I have some time on my hands, I thought I'll
Make them.
knock some up and people give you something.
So is that copper or brass or mixture?
It's copper.
Copper.
So basically, all the copper work is made from scrap electrical wire and copper piping.
Oh, nice.
So that started off life as
Whoa.
so it's a piece of that and all the various bits, and then depending on my brain basically.
And then you do chain link as well.
So this like chainmail. Ever having a go? It was to have a go at something to. So yeah, chainmail,
Yeah.
which you make with highly technical piece of equipment.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So what you do is you feed a piece of wire through that hole,
Yeah.
twist that round, keep twisting it. And then you'll end up
Oh, yeah,
with
would agree.
a coil. And then all you have to do is then with cutters snip, snip, snip. You
Yeah.
end up with, and then it's
Then you
then
put them together.
Yep. So it's just which you can do.
And is the copper, is that used as arthritis or is that brass?
Right. Well, okay. So the thing, lots of people have. There's a lot anecdotally. People say my nan always wore copper and for arthritis and what have you. But asked lots and lots of times. So I did try doing some research on it. Couldn't find a lot of research actually being done. So
Right.
there isn't. Yeah. Just because research hasn't been done doesn't mean that there
It
isn't
doesn't
something to it.
Yeah.
But what I say to people is, I make them because I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
What I do know exists is the placebo effect,
Yes.
which is where if a trusted person, somebody who you trust, says
Yeah.
this will help you,
Yes.
then
It will help you.
it will help you.
It's in your head. Yeah.
because it's in your head. So I'm not coming down on either side of the argument. It's a case of I'm going to come down on the don't know. Is the honest answer I have.
Useful, might be able to use that as a medicinal plant. That's exactly why it's used. Again, we put it on those saws to stop you getting infected. It's not going to close the basket, but weaken the sores, crack skin, it will stop bleeding. Again, it also suppresses itching, which is a miracle in itself. It really stings if you put it on your front. It's also used as a food additive, Middle Eastern cooking called fitkari. It's also used in dyeing of fabrics to fix colour. It's also used in tanning of leather. It's like a miracle substance, isn't it? It's amazing how you really enthusiastic about this.
What is it?
It's called alum. Alum. It's naturally occurring like this in the 12th century. I've probably got it in Egypt, but it isn't elsewhere. And you can buy it like this. I buy my alum in a big bag off Amazon.
Wow. And what do you use it for?
This.
Just that,
This.
Yeah.
I don't. I should probably,
Do you use it?
I should use it as a tip, shouldn't I? Actually, I should probably commit to my bit for it.
Maybe. What's this thing?
This. Oh, you'll
It's like
like
a
this.
nose covering.
It's not quite a nose covering. This is what we might call, if I were feeling particularly fancy, a cosmetic nasal prosthesis. It's a false nose, is what it is.
Okay.
If you live with leprosy long enough,
Yeah.
it will, unfortunately, start attacking the structure of your face.
Yeah.
And it will cause your nose to change shape. Eventually, it will cause your nose to collapse in onto it, which is, I imagine, extremely distressing. Because this thing in the middle of your face, it's a really prominent feature, and losing it would be make you very sad. So things like cosmetic prostheses, which are used to hide the fact that you've lost a nose, were definitely a thing during the 12th and 13th centuries, and even before. Now, I've made mine out of leather. There's no evidence at the time they were using leather. But there are writings about a guy who was very proud of his gold false nose.
Oh, nice.
As well, you would, I think I would be as well if I had a gold false nose. But yeah, so it's to hide the fact that your nose has been damaged by the disease that you're suffering from. That one. So that starts life with this rather, he's looking a bit sad at the moment, so do you know what this might be?
Okay. Look at the nose.
This is called mugwort.
Thank you very much.
Oh, mugwort.
You're welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
Have a lovely day.
mugwort.
Yeah, so mugwort is a hedgerow plant. So what we're going to do, when it reached full maturity, we would harvest it, dry it, and then obviously we would grind it and pound it as fine as we
The
would.
whole thing?
Yeah, the whole, well, not the roots, anything that grows out of the ground, we would chop it off. Because mugwort can grow up to 6 feet high.
Yeah.
So we'd wait till it reached its maximum height, then we'd chop it off at the ground,
And that's
dry
mustard,
it.
is it?
That is sulphur.
Oh, sulphur. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it starts off as sulphur. That one that's our alum, that's the ground. That's alum.
Good morning, everybody.
So what is it?
If
What
you've
is it
just
used for?
arrived, welcome to the
Mugwort. So what we do with this is we treat it a bit like a cold and flu drink, like a Lentic or a Beecham.
Yeah.
If you were having a bad day, we would take a big dose of our powdered mugwort and we'd put it in a drink in absolutely new ale, fresh ale. We'd put a big push of that in and you would drink it down. Because in the 12th century, I would believe that would be a painkiller,
Yeah.
that it had anti-inflammatory properties, that it would ease your lungs,
Yeah.
that it would settle your digestive system.
Get out, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was doing a lot of heavy lifting. I believe it was doing all sorts. I also believed it would help your nerves function properly,
Okay, yeah.
which is an important thing if you are suffering from leprosy, because that can attack your nervous system and your
That's right,
extremities. So things like this were commonly given to people suffering from leprosy because it was believed it would ease their condition, it would help them.
But it smells then.
Snail shells. This is a good one, this. It's only the shells we want. I've eaten the snails out of them already.
Right.
But it was believed in the 12th century that this would be a cure for leprosy.
Oh, okay.
So what we would do, we'd have to get snail shells from
Calcium, is
either
it?
Sicily or Sardinia, really specific. We'd have to heat them up. We'd grind them into a powder.
Oh, okay.
And then to treat you, we'd start a treatment program that will last 20 days, where every time you had a drink, I put snail shell powder in it for you. You know, and if you don't miss one, if you get all the way through and you're saying your prayers, on the 21st day after we start, you wake up and you'll be cured.
Right. That's good.
That sounds good, doesn't it? No,
That's
it's
it.
rubbish. You're right, snail shells are packed full of calcium. They've also got things like potassium in them and magnesium, all stuff that's really
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
But this is a really crude way of preparing it, processing it. And even though our digestive system's wonderful, it can do a lot, asking it to pull like useful absorbable minerals out of all
It's not
the
gonna work.
impurities, you might get a tiny bit. You might be microdosing a mineral supplement. It's not going to do you any harm, but it's definitely not going to cure your leprosy.
No.
But for 20 days, it's giving you hope, I suppose.
I expect so.
Gonna try it?
No. This one?
That is comfrey.
Oh, I got some.
Comfrey, that was commonly used the leaves were used to make a poultice to put on.
Oh, have I got? Right. Have I got comfrey or have I got the other one?
I don't recognise
In the
that.
allotments.
Oh, I don't know.
If you don't know, I can't tell you.
It begins with B. Is it?
Burdock?
No. I remember it now. I remember it. But,
If you do, you have to sprint back and tell me.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called now.
Thank you.
Alright, guys, thanks ever so much for stopping by. Have a lovely day.
No worries.
Right, so they can grow.
If you drew a straight
This is a
line,
relatively small one,
it's kind of just.
taken when it was younger. Actually growing to the size of this table to give you an idea of how big they can be.
Oh no, we have. I know what
Sure.
Block my house.
So, to give you an idea
It's
about
so
bull,
heavy.
obviously,
walk around with that,
it's obviously very dangerous. We have any number of true stories of many dogs horses being impaled on the tusks of a charging bull. Now, as a young nobleman, before I was even knowing how, we did everything on horse. There was no road everywhere.
Anybody still working after that?
Anyway, so he's forced to ignore it.
Was it good luck? They deliberately
So yeah, we'll have a go back, see what it feels like.
This particular one's about 116.
So it's one important thing.
It's burned from the inside out, so they drill a little hole in the back and just put a little wooden stopper in there for now. And they stored them and then they put them on the wagons and they would take them off the battle. When they come to attack a castle, you take the little stopper out.
Yes, so this is I think this is 32 inches. So see where it falls back on artillery. That's how long. It's a slightly different style of shooting compared to modern target archery. So
Why has it got 2 colours on it?
Sorry?
Why has it got 2 colours on it?
2 what?
2 colours.
Oh, 2 colours, sorry. That is the natural lamination of the wood. So that's how it actually grows. So this is the sapwood, which is like the younger living part of the tree, and then this is just the more mature, sort of non-living part, essentially.
So that'd be the inside for yours?
Outside. So that's the outside, that's the inside. This is really good under tension, so as you pull the bow, you can imagine this side stretches, and this is really good under compression, so as you pull the bow that stretches, so you've got the back and the belly, just like we've got the belly and the back, as you bend, your back stretches, your belly compresses, same principle for this.
So what's the string made of?
So this is a modern string, because we do demonstrations and things, this is like a modern nylon/carbon fibre.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But it would be made of like hemp or linen.
Linen?
Yeah. You can have linen strings or hemp or flax.
So that's linen when it's twisted, it's flexible then, is it?
Yeah. So essentially when you get the flax and they process it essentially to get the strands. We think they could have grown it really long so you don't have any breakages in
just
it.
the one.
And then you get multiple strands of it, and then they just twist it together like wood, just a rope, and then there you've got a good string. And then you've got cow horn at either end, so use quite a soft wood.
What's on the end?
Cow horn.
Oh, a cow horn,
yeah.
right.
So that just helps reinforce it. Otherwise, the string would eventually sort of like wear through and break the wood. So it's not particularly hard; it's quite soft. So all together, it's quite a simple thing, really. You've got a piece of wood, piece of string. It can launch an arrow.
How far?
Similar to this, depending on the poundage of the bow and what type of arrowhead and everything else. Typically about 250 to 300 yards, potentially.
And the feathers are made from?
Traditionally, they would have been made of goose.
Goose? That'd be a long
these are turkey because they're just more readily available now. But, goose. If you had a bit more money, so like your yeomen and lords and things, they could afford like swan. So it's a little bit more classic, if you like. But again, a bit of cow horn in there. To help reinforce the knock, so that acts like a bit of a shock absorber. Not all the time, but typically, again, depending on the poundage of the bow and etc., you can split the arrow. So if this was to knock on here and we lose, the string can just slice the arrow in half. So that just helps reinforce it a little bit. Yeah. And you've got
and the bow itself.
Sorry.
The arrow, not the arrow.
The arrow, poplar or ash. Or aspen, as they used to be known as in the day. So again, it's quite a durable wood. It's got a bit of flexibility to it. So when this is loosed, it essentially bends around the bow. So if you've ever called the archer's paradox, as they call it. So as you loose, this arrow literally like snakes through the air, and it bends around the bow, and then it'll sort of like snake through the air. The fletchings slow it down, they slow the back end down, they help stabilise the arrow. And if you look sort of you can see the very sort of rifle, they kind of just tittle off to one side. So you've got left and right wing of the bird. It's the first 3 feathers, I believe, called the primary feathers. They sort of all curve round one way. So if you use the same direction of the feathers, they essentially rifle through the air. So you're like a modern bullet. It will spin. It will cause the arrow to spin as well once it stabilises, and then that's sort of its best. Flight pattern, if you like. I'm a bit loose for words today, sorry. But
So that's made from one old thing.
yeah, so this is just one solid piece, and then you've got the metal arrowhead on the end. Varying different types again. You've got Nick down there. You see he's holding a board with many different types of arrowheads on it. So they all have different purposes.
Do you make them, or you somebody?
Yeah, most of us make our own arrows. Quite expensive to buy. Depending on who you go to, you can pay £25–30 an arrow.
An arrow?
Yeah, depending on the quality. There's a chap that makes like museum quality arrows, and they are quite expensive. Standard munition ones, just for blinking like what we do, you can still spend £10–15 an arrow. When you've got a full arrow bag of 24 arrows, it can get quite expensive. So yeah, most of us make our own.
So you taught yourself, or you learned from books or something?
We've learnt from YouTube.
Yeah.
Very medieval YouTube, as it happens.
Oh, right, good.
All qualified fletchers from YouTube. But yeah, Andy makes some of the bows. He's made this bow.
Yeah.
We all sort of like dabble in making our own arrows and things. And,
so do you have all different lengths for different people, or different things?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a 32-inch draw. So that means from the back of the bow, when I pull the string, I'm at 32 inches. That's kind of where I lock out.
Yes.
So my arrows are 32 inches long. For that,
oh right, yeah, I get you.
Arrows, I could shoot a long arrow, but I don't. Why?
Not worth
that extra's wasted. So just pull it to what you need. But yeah, you don't typically get much more than 32. There's a guy in our group who's quite a tall chap. He's about 6'5", 6'6", and he's got a 34-inch draw. So his arrows are 34 inches.
I get you.
And it depends on what your bow's tillered to as well. Tillering is a process of teaching the bow to bend, essentially. So it just gets put on a rack like this, and you get a piece of string. As you pull it, it pulls the bow down, and you just make sure it's even both sides. And depending on where you set it to, so if you tiller it to 32 inches, you know at 32 inches the bow's quite comfortable.
Yes.
The more you start to overstretch that, potentially run the risk of it exploding, essentially. It's a natural material, so there's no hard and fast rule. You could have a bow for 10, 15 years and it's completely fine. One day it'll blow up. You can get a brand new bow, 5 days later it'll blow up again. So it's kind of look at the draw, really. It's quite a durable wood. It's quite forgiving. Would you like to have a go at drawing it back? See how it feels?
Well, you're an expert, aren't you?
Why not? So you're left or right-handed?
Right.
Right-handed. So if you hold the bow with your left hand, just under my finger there, that's it, and the 3 fingers opposite here. And then, so one very important thing is don't let go of the string. So when you pull this back as far as you can, let your hand come back in with it. Don't let go of it, because it could break the bow and it could snap your wrist, and it really hurts.
And you owe the man.
So this is 116 pounds at 32 inches draw. So 32 inches again. This whole length. So here you're holding.
My arm wouldn't give fit. My arm's not big.
But at that length.
So did they have women archers as well as men?
Typically no. Sometimes there were exceptions.
Yeah.
But typically it was, we'd say adult males. So from the ages of about 15, 16 above, they were constricted to go fight.
Like at the academy.
Yeah. But women archers did exist for the purposes of like hunting and things as well.
Okay.
So typically you wouldn't be using this as a hunting bow.
No,
You'd have a
it's
lower poundage, like
it's too big anyway.
30–40 pound bow equivalent. And yeah, you'd go hunting and do all that sort of stuff.
But they didn't go to war. They didn't fight.
Again, there were some exceptions, but typically didn't fight as such on the battlefield. But they would be part of the logistics, if you like. That they'd be bringing the weapons, bringing up arrows. Same with the kids as well. The kids they'd be going out on the battlefield collecting
the arrows,
bits and bobs, and bringing them back to the front lines. Yeah, so very good.
Yeah, you're right. Me using some of the footage on YouTube.
Yeah, of course, can. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Nasty stuff. Also, they must have realised that they were using the smoke as a weapon as well, because they would add camphor or arsenic to the mix, and that doesn't make any difference to the burn. So it must be the smoke that they're trying to use as a weapon. So I don't know, maybe a castle keep. People have boarded themselves in. You've got to try and smash your way in or starve them out. Maybe you shoot some of these through the windows. Maybe use the smoke to try and gas them out. That's complete conjecture on my part, but they're using the smoke. We have recipe books that say what's in the bag, and if you go to Zurich in Switzerland, they have these heads still with the bags on, with the gunpowder in, the resin on the top, the little stoppers and all that. So
You've just been to Zurich as well.
Oh no! Yeah, they've got everything. So none of that is guesswork. It's like it's there. We can look at it and we can analyse it and all that. So these are the most commonly used arrowheads, and then the arrow that they go on to. Generally ash or poplar shafts or aspen, roughly about 30 inches long. So the average height back in the 14th century is about 5'7". So I'm just over that. So my drawer is just over 30 inches. A drawer is when you come back and your elbow locks back. You don't want to hold it here because my muscles are holding the string. Back here, my bones are holding the string. So it will look like I'm drawing longer because I'm not holding a bow. A bow will squash me together. But if I draw to my ear, that's about 30 inches. So my elbow is roughly back. You don't want an arrow that's sticking out like this. It's weights, and yeah, you don't need it. So you'll see in all the illustrations they're drawing like this, and that's exactly the same way we do it. So that's a typical arrow. So a fletcher makes all that, and an arrowsmith just makes that. So it's just a blacksmith that's just pumping out arrowheads. You have fletchings. If you shoot a shaft without fletchings, when it leaves the bow, it will do this, and it doesn't straighten it up. Yeah, so these straighten it up quicker. They didn't have waterproof glues, so you're making glues out of like wax and fat and tallow and things like that. Early arrows, they actually kept more wood at the end, so that's where it sits on the string. Later on,
when you're making an arrow,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, all the ones you've got are round.
Yeah.
Making a round arrow is surely hard work.
Yeah, but they did though. So you'll make there are two ways to make an arrow shaft. They'll either coppice and let it grow like that naturally, and because we have records of them peeling arrows, so we think there's peeling bark. So you've got that natural taper.
And the choice of wood is because they grow long and
yeah.
I mean, willow's the obvious one for that.
Yeah, sure. But this is easy enough to make. So what you do is get a plank of wood, and then you have something called a shooting board. So it's a long board, but it's got a V all the way along. So you will have a square sided piece of wood. Sit it in, plane, rotate,
so like chopsticks.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, fine. Yeah, so and it's quite quick. Yeah. And you'll taper it because you want all your weight and mass at the front to deliver that punch, but you don't want it all like that. 'Cause it's too heavy. So you'll then taper as much off you can. So normally, for the ones we found, half inch to 3/8 or even less. Later on, from the 15th century, on the end, rather than that bulbous knock, we're seeing horn inserts. So again, it's just to strengthen the knock because the string's in there, so it's a lot of force going at, and so these can break. And the horn is quite fibrous, so it will still break. So sometimes these are still better than that.
It's a lot of work to go into each arrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. These come off these bows, anything up to 150 mile an hour, up to 300 yards, again, depending on the bow. And they will reuse these. So probably most famously, from what I know, Battle of Poitiers, 1356, the English archers have seen off 3 waves of attacks of the French. And pretty close to the English line, there were heaps of
of French men-at-arms and horses that were either dead or dying, riddled with arrows. So before the fourth wave was going to come in, the guys ran forward and pulled their arrows out of the dead and the dying, and then ready to use them for the fourth. And we have accounts from the Tower of London, which was our main armoury back then, of arrows coming back in their hundreds of thousands from campaigns, and having all of this stripped off, refletched, and then get ready to send it back out. So there's an awful lot of time and effort and money that goes into making an arrow like that. So you don't want to leave that on the battlefield. And a victor will always scour the battlefield for everything.
Of course, because war is expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you don't want to leave stuff lying around that the enemy can regroup and use against you. So all the arrows, all the weapons, all the armour, everyone will be stripped. And all that armour, if you're not going to take it back, you'll put it in pits and burn it so that it can't be used again. And the archers will take what they can, because there's a lot of money's worth that they could potentially sell. So it all goes on the wagons and gets used again. So they were making these in hundreds of thousands. So
So Nick, frames this cup actually. Can't remember.
Easy to shoot. So all I ask, not loaded, you're all perfectly safe. But I will aim that by putting it up on my shoulder. You pull that back, put a bolt there, look straight down it, and then you pull the trigger. So I used to work at Arundel Castle teaching people how to shoot these. And with 6 bolts, I'll have you hitting the target every single one. So what you find is like town militias we use in crossbows, because you don't need to be a professional soldier. You didn't have lots of time to practice and that. Problem with these, they're really slow compared to a bow. So we would do demonstrations, and I would shoot this against people with bows. And it's usually 2 arrows to 1 bolt, and this is still quite quick. It is okay, it's fine. The way I pull this string back, I can't do it with my hands because it's just too powerful. This is from the 1300s. It's a lever, it's called a goat's foot. It's just using leverage. The idea being where my finger is sits on the string. Those goat's feet sit behind those pegs. And then that is going to pull the string towards those pegs using that lever. So I won't load it because I've only got to shoot it. But that comes back and it just pull it all the way back.
Really beautifully made, isn't it?
It's a lovely piece of engineering. The way this works, crossbow is just a bow on a stock. There's your trigger. So you pull that string back and it sits behind here. This is like a little barrel, okay, and it's got a notch underneath. So this dog legs through that pin and it sits in that notch so it can't spin. So that's locked in. When I pull that trigger, it pivots there, comes out of the notch, and it spins.
So it's like a gun mechanism, really.
Yeah, it's a trigger. Yeah. So that's why it makes it so easy. So you did use these in big pitched battles against English archers, but you'd have to be protected. So they'd have something called a pavise. It's like a big shield about.
Oh, it's like a riot shield.
Yeah, with a little leg on it, and it would sit in front of you on the ground, stand it on the ground. You'd hide behind it. You'd load, you'd pop out, you'd shoot, and then you'd get back in there. So English archers going to be pouring volleys of arrows into you. From the time of Richard I, the Battle of Jaffa, which is like 1190s, early 1190s, he started pairing crossbowmen behind these pavises. So 2 guys, 2 crossbows, 1 loads, 1 shoots, doubles your speed. But if you've got something like the windlass that I was talking about, you put your foot through the stirrup and then you put a block with all these cords going down to hooks. And you wind it up, and that's slow.
Is that ratchet? Like a kind of ratchet?
No, that's a cranaquin. Cranaquin was a big ratchet that you pulled it up. It's just pulleys. We were very lucky. I did a documentary for the Discovery Channel many years ago. They gave me a 1,000-pound draw weight windlass bow, and I shot that against one of my mates that was on the longbow. Well, not shot at him, but I competed against him. So all I had to do is put this on the floor, get the windlass system, pull out all the cords, hook it, put the block on with the handles, wind it up, take all that off,
Yeah.
Well, shoot. He got 8 arrows off in the time it took me to do one.
Yours is more sort of powerful,
Much, yeah. So this is great for siege warfare. It's great in the castle, you're attacking the castle, defending the castle. The early ones, so it's a Chinese weapon, it goes back 400 BC at least, as far as we know. But in 1300s and more in the 1400s, they started going over to steel. You can load this and just leave it. It's not going to degrade like a wooden weapon. You can't leave it loaded. So if you're defending the castle or attacking, you'd span it, you'd like put your bolt on there, and you just stand there and wait. So if you're behind your little arrow embracer, you're waiting for a target of opportunity, and you can snipe with it. So that's kind of like the that's the beauty of a crossbow. So they both have their strengths and weaknesses, really.
All right? Yeah? Right, grab one of these. Maybe. I'll be back in 2 moments.
You've got enough men and enough crossbows. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and fortunately, you have to shoot that fast. You know, unless they're falling over.
Candles for sale. Make you one.
Next door I've got.
Sorry guys.
Right, where were we? Who wants to try on a helmet? Yeah? Okay, let me have a quick swig of the water. And a bit parched out. Because you should always stay hydrated.
Told you that, do
you know one of the biggest killers on the battlefield is dehydration and heat exhaustion? Because it's very difficult to keep drinking water when you're fighting. Right, which one would you like? 1, 2 or 3? This one? Fabulous. Because that's the one that's nearest to your head size, so that works. You've got a little bit. Right, be careful. Yeah, I'll get to sword in a second. You're going to try one on?
It's very crazy.
Yeah, we won't be, okay? Do you want to try one on as well? You're going to put a helmet on? Yes, please. Right, keep that on. Oh, no, okay, fine. I'm going to pop this on your head, alright? It's a little bit for you. So, that one or that one? This one? Yeah? Right, so this is very big for you. I can't do it at the strap because if you lean back and it falls off, it's going to flop on you, okay? So let's pop that on. Right, can you just do me a favour? Can you step over here for me? That's it. No, you stay there. You stay there. I'm a fan of your shoes. I shouldn't know what that is.
Yeah, so the early ones.
Yeah, so you have 2 hands on there, okay? Don't touch the blade, okay? Do not swing it around, okay? And don't hit anyone with it. Alright?
Can you turn and look at Mummy?
So come and stand over here, you're going to have this one. 2 hands on there for me, don't touch the blade, don't swing it around. So you come back this way, come over here for me. No, this way. This way, backwards. That's it, and you come over here. Come over here.
Next to him.
That's it, come and stand here.
Next to him.
Really carefully.
You haven't got to go that slow.
There we go, back a bit.
I know.
Right, that's it, and then turn up this slightly, and we do this with the swords.
Oh, wow. Look at me.
Do battle faces. Go, or stinky feet, one of the 2. Yeah, don't do that.
No, thank you.
You'll damage them. Thank you very much. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Right, leave your hat on, leave your hat on.
Wait.
Let me take it off, because if you get it wrong, it's going to break your nose. And trust me, I know. I've done that myself. I did. I died in a battle. Where, thank you very much for wearing this one. The strap got loose, and as I went down, it slipped forward and broke my nose.
Oh.
And when you're dead on the field and you're trying to get all the blood and everything out, it's quite
not
I can't imagine.
Yeah. All right.
Say thank you very much.
You are more than welcome.
Thank you.
Which one would you like to try? 1, 2 or 3? 1.
Try it half the distance.
Try this way. There we go.
No.
Oh, bless.
What next to deal with?
Yes,
Caltrops. These would be thrown in their thousands all over the field before the advancing cavalry and infantry, and whichever way it lands, it always point up. And they would be razor sharp, so you'd step on it, it would go through your leather shoes. A lot of the army were barefooted, they couldn't afford shoes. Barefoot horses, straight away, who's in horse lane with horse goes down. So at the Battle of Agincourt, 30,000 French knights, the finest of the French nobility, were pitted against 5,000 archers from England and Wales and 900 men at arms. So an army of 6,000 versus 30 of the finest on night. But what happened? The English army suffered from dysentery and starvation. They were told to chop down 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 inch posts, which they carried along with all the rest of their gear. These guys were immensely strong. They would hammer these into the floor to 45 degrees, sharpen the point, throw the caltrops out in front, and Henry picked ground that was slightly higher, and in Agincourt, the ground is really, really sort of heavy clay, and the rains for the week before had made it like a quagmire. The French, in their arrogance, decided that they wanted to take Henry. Whoever took Henry would be held in high regard. Now their crossbowmen weren't very effective because you can't string a crossbow on the battlefield. You need machinery to uncross it, whereas a longbow can be unstrung on the battlefield and put under your hat. All archers wore this called a Monmouth cap. Made here in Monmouth hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and they still make it to this day. Very tight weave, keeps your skin, it keeps your string dry. So my string would be there, nice and dry, get it out from under my hat. The rain stopped at Agincourt, strung their bows, and that's where the saying, keep it under your hat comes from to this day. So they kept their strings under their hat.
Because it affects the range, obviously, if the bow string gets wet.
And very often they would keep a spare string under their hat as well as the one on their bow as well. So Henry picked the ground, it was muddy, the crossbow, because of the wet strings, didn't have the range. The longbowmen were ready, 5,000 archers, all veterans, all very strong. A good archer could release between 6 and 7 arrows a minute. So 5,000 arrows fill the sky. They said the sky went black. They said it was an arrow storm. Those 5,000 arrows landed in the front ranks of the French nobility, hit horses, any open bits of flesh, any sort of chainmail parts. The horses went down, the knights with them. More knights came over. They were hit with a storm. 7 a minute, 5,000, 7 a minute coming down. They went over. The infantry came behind, and they were still keen to get to the English front. And they trampled over horses, dead cavalry, or dead knights. A lot of the dead of the French didn't even have a wound on them. They drowned in the mud from the back rows trying to come through to get. They got to the lines of the English eventually, where the 900 men at arms did a fine job of beating them back. Along with the archers, who would be armed with a falchion and a buckler. A sallet would be my helmet. I would have taken that off a French nobleman that I'd found earlier, with my neck guard, and a gambeson, light armour, with jacks. I'm quite wealthy to have jacks as an archer. And so we would also join the knights, and they were driven back. Now, the French, losing all hope, surrendered en masse. In fact, so much so that more French surrendered than we had troops. So we had 6,000, so more than 6,000 we know now, surrendered there, dropped their weapons and said, you know, no, mercy, mercy. Now at this point, two things happened which put a bit of a cloud on it, is the rear two divisions of the French army rode back away into the woods. Now Henry thought they were going back into the woods to form some kind of flanking manoeuvre. They were actually leaving, they'd seen enough and they were just getting out of there. But also, the second time, Henry had reports that the Duke of Agincourt and some other nobles and militia had attacked his base camp, had killed some of the children, women and servants there, and stolen some stuff from his base camp. Now Henry wasn't sure if that was another army coming from behind after these reports,
So he made a very fatal, but not fatal, important decision, and he said, kill all the prisoners. The men-at-arms of noble birth refused point blank. They said it's not the right thing to do, it's not noble. So we asked the archers. No, the archers had no love for the French nobility. In previous engagements, the French nobility had promised archers that if they left the battlefield, they would be allowed to leave and they would be allowed to go back. They went back on their word, they killed those archers and mutilated them. So the archers hated the French nobility. There was no nobility only works from chivalry from noble to noble, it doesn't go to peasant. So the archers killed nearly all of the prisoners. They were so overzealous in this that they actually killed a lot of French nobles that they shouldn't have. The nobles were there for ransom. The job of us as an archer after the battle was to go onto the battlefield, and the archer's wife would assist with this too, armed with a rondelle or a ballock knife, which is a knife of an archer. We would take our axe, we would go and find out the value of any downed French nobleman. If he was worth money, then I would take it back to our camp, give him to our lord, he'd hand in his coat of arms, and then his oath would have been given, he'd stay at camp, be looked after, but taken back to England for ransom. Huge sums of money were exchanged that way. There's a castle in Kent that was built on the ransom of one French knight. But on this day, they were they were very angry, the archers, so they killed far too many. And after I went onto the battlefield, I'd look, if you're not worth it and you're a plain man at arms, I would find a chink in the armour, the eye socket, armpit, groin, under the neck, and I would give him some mercy and send him to my lord. For which I would have to go back and seek forgiveness, and then go then on a patronage to find a pilgrimage to ask for forgiveness for what I'd done. But I was ordered to do it by my king, so I couldn't refuse. And that's how we actually won at Agincourt. It was, again, overconfidence of the French and an arrogance of sort. They had 30,000 of their finest.
They let them move the stakes, didn't they, as well?
Yeah.
Pardon?
So the English set up the stakes, and the French were so arrogant that they let the English move their stakes forward.
Yeah.
They didn't charge them. And it's like, right, we'll just bring them, because the longbows are out of range. So they picked up sticks.
Really interesting.
And they let them do it. It was
the arrogance of them, and it took them decades to replenish the nobility of the French government and that, because they'd lost so many influential noblemen at that one battle.
Mental.
But that wasn't the first time the French had done it. At the Battle of Crecy, 100 years before that, it was the first time that a longbow came up against a crossbow head-to-head on a land battle en masse. And the Pope at the time was French, and he'd condemned the crossbow as an evil weapon because any peasant could kill a noble from distance. It still didn't stop the French army, though, of using Genoese crossbowmen as mercenaries. But when they got to the Battle of Crecy, the French army train had the crossbow men at the front, but their shields, the previs, the large square shield, were at 5 miles back. And the French still ordered the crossbowmen onto the battlefield without their shields, their previs, and their shield bearers would hold the previs, whilst 2 crossbowmen behind it. They got halfway across the battlefield, half of their number was killed, their leader was killed, they panicked, they turned, they tried to flee the battlefield. The French saw this, didn't know whether it was treachery or cowardice, so they rode down their own crossbowmen. The crossbowmen started fighting with the knights because they were just trying to fight to go in the opposite direction. While they're fighting amongst themselves, there's a storm of arrows still coming down on them. And that was 100 years previously. You thought the French would have learned their lesson then, and their arrogance again. They lost the day, and having a totally superior number of fine knights, and they lost to the longbow. So yes, so a lot of it was the French mistakes. You enjoy. Yeah, same here. I love medicine.
Morning.
But what happens then is the lime allows capillary action from the core of your wall, so any side that draws the moisture through and it exhales it into the environment. Yeah, it absolutely can. So what happens then is basically in winter you can get sort of reverse capillary reaction. But basically most of the houses that have open fires.
Everybody hear that okay?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Okay, lovely. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's lovely to be here again for the second day of this Monmouth Festival. First time we've been here. Had a really good time so far. So what the plan is, whenever we fly birds of prey, rather than us just stand here and fly the birds, and you sit there drinking your cider or lattes or whatever it is you do, I would much rather you gave me your cider, you can fly the birds and I'll drink your cider for you. How's that sound? Yeah? Good. So what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and get as many people involved as we can. Whenever we do these displays, whether it's a display like this or it's a massive boxes now, whether it's a school, whatever we do, we always want to get people involved. Okay. So rather than we just want to get Friday, we want you guys to play. Lots of people never had a chance to play with these amazing birds.